want you to look right at the camera.
Okay.
And I want you to say your name and you say 2012 PRCA Clown of the Year.
Justin Rumford, 2012 PRCA Clown of the Year. So I got my card in 2011 and I got to win Clown of the Year in 2012. I know that if Flint was still in pro rodeo, I wouldn't want it, and I'm cool with that. Flint's the best. There'd be nobody better than Flint.
Down? No, I'm gonna be the spider.
People, their attention span is so short. You can see at these rodeos. You know, if you're not, they're on their phone, looking at Facebook or so. The acts, like my acts are shorter, they're more crowd involved than some, but you know, everybody's got their own deal, but that's just how I do it.
Hi, I'm Jeff Metters. Welcome to Bullseye. I've seen a lot of different rodeo acts across the country in the last 3 decades. Some funny, some not so funny. But one act that never disappoints is Justin Rumford. He is funny, and he's unique, and he has a way of drawing you in. Rump is the most decorated clown in PRCA history. We caught up with him in between rodeos at his home in north central Oklahoma. Any chance you were not going to end up involved in rodeo in some form or fashion?
No, I loved it from day one. You know, my grandpa Floyd actually started Rumford Rodeo Company in 1946. And so by the time I was born, you know, we'd been pretty deep in the rodeo business for a long time. And I got to go to my first NFR in 1986 when I was 6 years old, and it just blew my mind. And I can still remember everything about it to the day. So my brothers and sisters and cousins, they were kind of all over, but I was in from day one.
You made the high school finals, you made the college finals. I mean, you had a good start to a rodeo career.
Yeah, I went to the Prairie Circuit Finals a couple times too, and the Bulldogging, and won the Central Plains region in college rodeo, and made a short round every year. Went to the college finals, and went to college finals in 2 events, which a lot of people don't know that. But I rode broncs until my senior year of college when blood brother of Birch's made me retire, and. So yeah, I mean, I had I don't know, my career wasn't bad, but it just never took off because, I mean, it wasn't what I was supposed to do.
How'd you get on the clown and the entertaining side of it?
Well, funny thing, it happened so fast. Julie Graber at Pretty Prairie, Kansas, they had a bull riding event, and their clown had to back out the last second. So she knew me from working for Benny. Because when I worked for the Butlers, I was always at every big rodeo busting jokes and hanging out, and everybody thought, man, this guy's pretty funny, but they asked me to come clown at Pretty Prairie, and I was like, no, this, you know, and they said, oh, just give it a shot. So I said, oh, okay, well, we'll see what we could do. So I borrowed a barrel, I borrowed a wireless mic, and went up there and I did one performance, and after it was over, they gave me a good check, and it was really cool. And the money was better than trucking for Benny. So I was like, wow, this is a thing. I was like, man, this may be something I want to do. And I thought this is a way I could stay involved in rodeo. You know, maybe I didn't make it bulldogging or do anything else, but maybe this is my end to be a part of this.
How do you get started? How hard is it? You know, you're naturally funny. You like people. You're not bashful. But I mean, how long did it take you to get like where, you know, you had a bit of an act and you knew what the shtick was, you got the flow, and you were able to, you felt like you were competent as a rodeo clown?
Well, I don't even know if I'm there yet.
You made it.
When the whole deal started, when I finally decided to be a rodeo clown, it was in 2011, and I was like, man, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I had a real up when you talk about getting involved. I had more of an advantage than anybody, because I'd spent my whole life around stock contractors and rodeo committees, and my big rodeos, Austin and Tucson, Arizona, and Nampa, and all those rodeos, I already had a relationship with all the people at these rodeos from being a worker. So when I finally decided to do it, I just started making calls, and bam, I got hired so fast.
Yeah.
That's when I decided I better figure this out a little more, because I didn't have an act.
Yeah.
But I did think something that I used to do I'd get on ranch broncs, and I thought, man, you know, I was getting heavy, and I was like, man, a fat dude on a bucking horse, that'd be pretty funny. So my first act was I had my own bucking horse, and he's turned out here, old Blueberry, that I'd bought. And so me and old Blueberry would go to these rodeos, and I would do a clown act where I got on a bucking horse, and when Blueberry quit bucking, I started getting on turnouts. And then after a while, I decided not to do that clown act anymore. So I had to kind of come up with some different stuff. But the act part is tough, and it still is. And I don't even know if that's perfected, but I enjoy doing them.
When we come back, the stars align for Rump, and his fast success leads to a lot of postseason accolades. We're talking a lot of accolades.
So I got my card in 2011, and I got to win Clown of the Year in 2012. I know that if Flint was still in pro rodeo, I wouldn't have won it, and I'm cool with that. Flint's the best. There's be nobody better than Flint.
Bullseye with Jeff Metters is presented by Cinch. Lead, don't follow. This is kind of our hooey top moment. What's been the pinnacle of your career so far?
I'd say the pinnacle of my career would be I got to work Sykeston, Missouri for the first time with Rick Young and Rudy Burns. And Rick Young had been there for 60 years at Sykeston, 82 years old. I got to walk out of the arena with him and hear him turn around and tip his hat to an empty arena and say, "It's been quite a show." I'll never forget that. And that was the coolest thing I've ever been a part of.
That's awesome. Clown of the Year, it didn't take you very long to win that.
It happened quick. So I got my card in 2011, and I got to win Clown of the Year in 2012. But it happened at the right time. I know that if Flint was still in pro rodeo, I wouldn't have won it, and I'm cool with that. Flint's the best. There's be nobody better than Flint. But I think that my career just hit when it was supposed to. Because I went from not having any rodeos to I think the second year that we went and rodeoed, we did 95 performances. So I'm pretty blessed to just be there when I was supposed to be there.
You've won 10 in a row, and that's amazing.
Yeah, it's cool. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's been a great ride, but if I never win another one, I'm happy with it. The rodeo's been so good to me for my whole life. I've never had another job outside of rodeo. I've drove a truck, flanked bucking horses, picked up, just anything I could do to be a part of it. So I look at the Clown of the Year buckles are nice, but the people and the friends, and I know it kind of sounds cliche, but it's the truth. I wouldn't trade my friends for any amount of NFR buckles there are, So I'm more than thankful just to have the rodeo family together. And the year-end awards are nice, but they're not as important as my friends.
You've worked one NFR. What was that experience like?
Man, it was great. It was.
It's very structured, isn't it?
It's so different than I was used to. And, and I'm gonna shoot you straight here. It wasn't my favorite thing. The NFR in my mind it haunted me my whole life. Like, it almost was bad for my mental health how I had an infatuation with the NFR. I mean, and my wife can vouch that it was it took up my entire life. And so after I got to go to the NFR, like, it was just so different for me, because at the finals, you don't have a microphone, you don't do an act, you don't talk, you don't do anything. You roll the barrel out during the bull ride, and it was cool, but I was glad to have my shot and move on.
Favorite act for you, has it been Spider-Man? What's your favorite?
Man, honestly, my favorite act is the mom scramble. Some people say that, like the older clowns, they don't like that. They say, well, that's not an act. Well, it takes about 6 minutes and it's horribly entertaining, but when I broke my leg, I had to come up with some different acts that you didn't have to move. And so we started doing the mom scramble, and everybody's making fun of me about that not being an act. And then in 2019, we won Comedy Act of the Year. So, I mean, it's so much fun to do because it's crowd participation. People, their attention span is so short. You can see at these rodeos. If you're not, they're on their phone looking at Facebook, or so. The acts, like my acts, are shorter. They're more crowd involved than some, but everybody's got their own deal. But that's just how I do it.
I loved Liesl Harris in the 90s. He was a really interesting guy, and he was just very subtle. But
Liesl was one of my favorite people ever. You know, he signed for my card. And before he passed away, he called me like every 3 weeks, and he would tell me a joke. And he'd say, hey, I got a joke for you.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny, but you might have to clean it up a little. And he would tell me like the most off-color joke that you could never tell at a rodeo. And then he would say, if you any good, you could clean it up and make it work. And then he would just hang up.
Still to come, we'll talk family with Rump, and he has triplets, by the way, and get to the roots of his highly successful podcast.
So we get all this recording stuff, and we're like, all right, let's just drink beer and tell stories. So we did the first one at Santa Fe, and it wasn't very good. It was maybe too much beer and not enough paying attention. All right, dial in, Bandy. Here, watch out, you're gonna get ran over. But findable. Yeah! That's fairway all day. That's fairway.
Ashley's a former Miss Rodeo Oklahoma. She needs a medal, doesn't she?
She needs several medals.
I got to think, living with you, she probably needs a Kevlar vest, a helmet, and then plus you got the triplets. So
she's a tough woman. That's a big order to take on, and sometimes she gets mad at me. She drives a lot. She can drive our pickup and trailer, and I mean,
it's a bad skill to have.
Get across the country, and so when we get close to a rodeo, sometimes I'll be like, hey, let's switch. So we're gonna pull in, and the committee's waiting on you. Oh, hey, and so
let's talk about Rump Chat. It's a really fun podcast. You do it with Josh Hambone Hilton, and how did that get started?
Well, just like the clowning. I don't even know how this stuff happens, but the Lord just makes stuff happen. We were driving to Santa Fe, New Mexico, Ashley and me and the kids, and Aaron Ferguson, who was the founder of BFO, and one of the main guys that brought back bullfighting. So he calls, and we were talking about podcasts, and I've never listened to a podcast, and Ashley had been listening to a podcast with that Dak Shepard that was kind of funny, and Aaron says, I think that you and Hambone need to do a podcast. So we get all this recording stuff, and we get a bunch of beer, and we're like, all right, let's just drink beer and tell stories. So we did the first one at Santa Fe, and it wasn't very good. It was maybe too much beer and not enough paying attention. So we let some of our family listen. They're like, yeah, no. So the next week we went to Flagstaff, Arizona, and we did 2 more. They were both too much. So we sent a link to it to Boyd Palamas, and because Boyd is our go-to and kind of our life counselor, and he's like, look, I think you guys need to really watch what you say, okay? He's like, there's a lot of that stuff that, so we're like, okay. So we finally got one done. So we promoted it on Facebook and all that, and like with the first day we had like 100 downloads. I was like, man, this is unreal. This is so cool. The more we put out, then it started blowing up. Then we got to 1,000 downloads. And I was like, man, this is like the pinnacle of our success right here. There's like, we got 1,000 people that have downloaded this. And then it just kept going. And then after that, we had some sponsor opportunities. And like, man, this could be something that we could do. And I always like to diversify and do other things. And so we've kept at it, and we've been doing Rump Chat at the NFR, and it's gotten bigger every day, where we're getting 25,000 downloads per day.
Wow. On
Rump Chat. So it's a really good place where I can kind of real talk without having to worry about hurting someone's feelings. So and we don't get too wild on there. There's some that are wild, but we want to tell the stories, and we got a great fan base of people like Rump Chat. We go after not just rodeo people, but oil field workers, and we do a lot with farmers, a lot of farmers. I've got more videos of farmers in their combines listening to Motley Crue than you could believe.
Time for our Cavender's Q&A. So I'm just going to ask you some rapid fire questions. Who's the better clown, Ronald McDonald or Red Skelton?
Ronald McDonald, all the way.
Tombstone or Lonesome Dove?
Lonesome Dove.
Casey Tibbs or Jim Shoulders?
Jim Shoulders.
Luke Bryan or Jamie Johnson?
Ooh. I don't know. I don't know any. I don't know their songs.
Oh, really? No doubt. Who do you listen to usually?
Motley Crue, Led
Oh,
Zeppelin,
so you're more on the heavy metal side of things.
Metallica. Yeah, I
No,
don't.
that's out of it.
I don't listen to country.
No. In-N-Out Burger or Whataburger?
Whataburger.
What's your career goal?
To own a Whataburger, and I'm working on it right now.
If you're in a battle for your life and you need somebody to save your life, are you going with Chuck Norris or Dusty Tuckness?
Tuckness, all day. I'll take Tuck over Chuck.
When we come back, sometimes comedy can be painful. A good idea goes sideways.
So we take that little fighting bull to Denver, and we build it up, and he's the meanest beast in the East, looks out for the baddest bull you've ever seen. That was the last time I did that.
Bullseye with Jeff Metters is presented by Cinch. Lead, don't follow. And brought to you by Cavender's. This is how we live. And Huey, the Western Action Sports brand. So this is the Rump crib.
Yeah, this is my official home.
You used to have a vacation home in Ponca City?
So this is the real tiny home here.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the whole living room, bedroom area.
Oh yeah, there's the barrel.
Goes back to the rodeo clown area, which it looks bad. I just got done rodeoing Saturday night, so every time I get home, I take everything out, clean it, go back through it. This is my girls' photos, not mine. I told them I need to take this all down because if I ever wreck this truck and trailer by myself, somebody might think I'm a weird cat.
What's the barrel weigh?
That one barrel, it only weighs like 140.
Yeah.
But I haven't rewrapped it for like 5 years. So right now it's probably about 250 because every time you wrap it, it adds pounds.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so I need to cut it back down and pull off because it's probably got that much tape.
Yeah.
So I need to pull it off, but I'm going to do that here in a few weeks. So
You know, it's not something you see at Walmart. Where do you go to get a barrel that you can use in a rodeo?
Sean Caldwell.
Okay.
Right outside of Fort Worth, Texas. He
Really?
builds them, yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah. That's a aluminum barrel.
Yeah.
They're expensive, but I always tell everybody you don't go cheap on a barrel. You buy a good barrel. So
Yeah.
then my
Can't
dummy, his head fell off, but another rodeo clown made that for me. So
Nice.
during the summer it looks a little different. During the summer we actually put all this to the front, and then we have portable closets.
Okay.
So all the all of our clothes are all in the back. So we've never put a horse in here, but
Probably a good idea not to.
yeah.
They kind of,
Our tiny home on wheels.
it's fun.
Yeah, it works out good. We all fit in here, and we ride in it going up and down the road. I know some people say it's legal, but
Yeah.
when you got 10 and 12-hour drives with 3 kids, and where we can stretch out and come in the back and watch TV or hang out. There's Mandy. What are you doing?
Well, while Ashley drives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. she likes to drive. I'm gonna
Yeah.
let her.
I'm with her. I like to drive too. So no mini fighting bulls in there or anything?
No, not since the accident. So since the Zebu that screwed me up so bad.
Tell me that story really quick.
Well, the guy that I buy and sell fighting bulls, and I sold Shad Smith a bunch of fighting bulls from California, and so he called me one day and he goes, "Hey, I got a fighting bull for you. It's a Zebu, the little bull. He's meaner than can be." He said it'd be for a good clown act. So I said, "All right, cool." So we actually did it once at Sydney, Iowa, and it was funny. So we decided let's do it again at Denver, and everybody's like, "I don't know," and my wife told me no. So we take that little fighting bull to Denver, and we build it up as he's the meanest beast in the East, looks out for the baddest bull you've ever seen, and they let this little booger out, and I make several rounds before I stepped in the hole where the third barrel was, and he hit me from the side and tore my ACL, MCL, PCL, double meniscus, and spiral fractured my tibia. So it was kind of a pretty bad wreck. That was the last time I did that. So no fighting bulls back here. We're not hauling anything that's mean.
Surgery, how long was the rehab on that?
Oh, well, the rehab, it took forever. I got to go back early because thank God for my rodeo committees that said that we'll hire you. You can just stand in the corner.
You gonna fight bulls? No.
No way.
No, I'm going to be a Navy SEAL.
Oh yeah, that's much safer. That's much safer. How many weeks out of the year are you?
Well, I started January 5th at Denver, and I've had 1 weekend without a rodeo until the second week in November.
Yeah.
So about all of them. The only rodeo I don't, or the only month I don't rodeo is December. So,
Yeah.
but you know, I know this won't last forever. So it's like me and my wife talked about, we're going to rock and roll while we can. And, you know, classic rock,
Yep.
one of the greatest lines ever, was in the song My, Hey, Hey by Neil Young. It said, better to burn out than to fade away.
Well, thanks for letting us come hang out with you.
Thank you, man.
You know,
I appreciate
It's
it.
always a pleasure.
It is fun. Work on that golf shot.
I'll keep trying to get better. I'll keep trying to get better. Justin Rumford is bigger than life. He's kind of the Chris Farley of rodeo. There's a reason why he's a 10-time PRCA Clown of the Year and in demand at just about every major rodeo across the country. He's one of the good guys, and he's taken rodeo to the next level. I'm Jeff Metters. Thanks for watching Bullseye. Just put your club right there and just kind of pivot over, and then just let your hands fall.